Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I find absolutely fascinating, the actual success formula of Africa's wealthiest person, Aliko Dangote. We always hear these wild theories about how billionaires operate, but we rarely get the actual blueprint straight from the source. Well, in a recent interview, he laid out his exact mindset, and we're going to unpack exactly how his mind works right now. This isn't just a look at what he's built, it's a deep dive into the specific psychology that allows someone to scale a massive empire and actually sustain it over decades.
So let's dive into this by asking the core question. When we think of a billionaire's formula, we usually expect, complex financial modeling, insider secrets, or some really advanced economic theory. But what Dangote revealed is surprisingly straightforward. It's a highly replicatable set of pillars based entirely on, and this is the real key here, human behavior. It's not about what he buys or sells, it's all about his daily habits, his mindset, and how he operates as a person every single day.
Section 1. The Rule of Extreme Discipline.
Dangote makes it crystal clear that without a foundation of extreme discipline, absolutely nothing in his empire functions. The whole thing starts with personal and professional regulation. Look at this comparison. He actively warns us against being a jack of all trades. He insists that you must choose exactly what you want to do with your life and focus solely on that one path. You literally have to actively reject the temptation to dip your toes into 100 different things. Singular focus is the absolute requirement here, because when you channel all your energy into one specific goal, the compound interest of your effort becomes completely unstoppable.
And part of that discipline is the stark divide between business and pleasure. For Dangote, these two worlds just do not mix. At all. You need the intense discipline to keep them entirely separate. There's no blurring the lines, no using company time for personal relaxation. When it's time for business, it is 100% about the business. This strict boundary is exactly what prevents distractions and ensures that when he is working, he's operating at absolute peak mental efficiency.
Section 2. Lessons from a Grandfather. Okay, so where does a person actually learn that kind of intense, rigid discipline? Well, Dangote inherited this ancestral blueprint straight from his grandfather. Just look at his grandfather's daily reality. He started working right at 6 a.m. and worked until late. And despite his incredible success, he lived a remarkably simple life, often even just driving himself. Dangote watched this firsthand and internalized a crucial insight. True wealth and leadership aren't about flashiness or ego. They're grounded in hard work, simplicity, and basic human fairness. That honesty and fairness became the exact bedrock of how Dangote negotiates and builds trust today.
But honestly, here's a staggering fact that really caught my eye. Dangote noted his grandfather's immense generosity, saying he gave out all his assets and money before he passed. Wow, just think about that for a second. That completely flips the script on the stereotype of billionaire hoarding, doesn't it? It is such a powerful lesson in valuing human connection and extreme generosity over just accumulating wealth for the sake of it. It taught Dangote that ultimate success at the end of a lifetime is measured by what you give back, not just what you keep.
Section 3. Making business a hobby.
Now, this brings up a really natural follow-up question. If business and pleasure simply do not mix, as Dangote insists, does the guy even enjoy his life? How does he not burn out from all this intense discipline? Well, he answers this by completely redefining the concept of a hobby. For Dangote, a hobby isn't, knitting or playing golf on the weekends. It's a deep, internal passion for your business that drives you to work incredibly hard. He explicitly stated in the interview, "I love what I do." He views his massive, continent-spanning enterprise not as a burden, but as his own personal hobby.
And this right here is the absolute core of his psychology. Look at this stark difference in mindset. If Dangote looked at his business as just a job, it would feel like an obligation. Jobs come with inherent limits on your effort, right? You punch in, you punch out. But viewing it as a hobby completely changes the game. It fuels relentless hard work. It's the difference between dragging your feet to do something you have to do versus eagerly jumping into something you love to do. Dango literally says that if he took it as a job, he just wouldn't be able to work this hard. His passion is the actual engine for his endurance.
Section 4. The Daily Billionaire Routine.
So what does this hobby actually look like in practice? Checking out this timeline gives us a direct look at the sheer volume of hours he commits to his craft. He goes to bed sometimes around midnight, yet he is up at 5 a.m. By 7:30 a.m., he's at the gym, he's totally done by 8 o'clock, and then he heads straight into the office for the rest of the day. This really proves that his massive success isn't some magic trick, and it isn't just luck. It is built on heavily structured, incredibly long days, day in and day out over decades.
And that routine culminates in this fantastic quote, "I work as hard as any staff." This completely shatters the stereotype of the detached, relaxed billionaire just sitting on a yacht letting everyone else do the heavy lifting. His discipline and his view of his business as a passion put him right in the trenches alongside his employees, outworking the competition from 5 a.m. to midnight. It's leadership by example in its absolute purest form.
Which brings us to our final takeaway, and I want to turn this right back to you. Based on Dangote's secret success formula, ask yourself, are you treating your goals like a job or a passion? Are you being a jack of all trades, spreading yourself way too thin, or do you have singular focus? The blueprint is remarkably simple, but as Dangote shows us, the execution requires relentless daily discipline. It's a profound perspective shift on how to tackle your own ambitions today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.